definitely going to be going for the farm. So I don't expect many points in concoction early on, especially in the lane. I think it just becomes an annoying situation where EMP gets even more value removing any sort of extractive value by stunning out the Invoker because you just won't have mana to work with. So we'll see how it plays out as we hop into the first game between Thunder and Tundra. Say that 20 times and get back to me. How many times did you mess it up?
Thunder, Tundra, Thunder, Tundra.
Thunder, Tundra.
It's
It
just
sounds like they
fun to
should
say.
be a team together, right? It actually sounds like a new super team to be formed.
It almost sounds like an AC/DC song, like Thunder, Tundra, Thunder,
Tundra.
We're
This is where
just
Breaky's
starting,
going
KP.
to music career next. You know, he's just there on the basic drums. He's like got a beat goes like Thunder, Tundra, Thunder, Tundra.
At least it's not boom, bet, boom, boom, bet.
30 seconds.
You know, it does roll a little bit more naturally, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. But yeah, no. Back to the Invoker. He is gonna go the Exort, and I had a feeling that's what we were going to see. If anything, there is some great there's some great Sunstrike setups, specifically that Beastmaster. With the Prime Aurora, of course, and in general the stun from Chaos Knight. There's a lot of potential to get some Sunstrike kills here for 9. So.
Yeah, and I wondered if he was going to consider a Crosswex build, but I like that he's going for the Exort build. I don't think you've got this natural, I'll carry the game all my lonesome in the late game on Skidder this time, like when we've seen the Naga before. Someone like a Chaos Knight is definitely going to be more present, but you need to make sure you've got your late game padded, shall we say, because we've seen what happens when teams leave their ceiling a little bit too low.
Now, I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit because, yeah, they're not lacking on crowd control. So again, Crosswex not necessarily needed in that sense, but they could use a Spirit Vessel.
Yes.
Potentially really good against the Alchemist, of course. Now, being Exort build, you usually don't build a Spirit Vessel. In fact, you already see he's got the Midas queued up and going to go from there. And they don't necessarily have another hero that's ideal for the Spirit Vessel. So that's the one other thing that I would keep in mind, certainly. And not saying it's right or wrong, but I would be so.
It's a fair point. You're spot on. Like I love that you brought that up because I wanted to hop into that because it's not just the Alchemist. There's another very important healing element in this lineup. 2, in fact.
Oh,
You've got the Sidekick, and then you've also got the Dawnbreaker toolkit. So definitely a high-value Spirit Vessel game. I agree with that thought.
He could still go it. It's not the typical for Exort, but he actually could still go it after the. I'm going to be interested to see if he does or not because yeah, there is a lot of value there. That's true. All right.
It's one of those things where you want it, then you're like, how quickly will the Alchemist get in a Dispel or a BKB, right? And then what do I do with this Spirit Vessel? I think that's maybe his concern. If this was a game with something like a Morphling or another hero that doesn't farm as fast as an Alch, I 100% I'm like, this has to be a Crosswex build, but I can kind of see Nine's perspective too here. Bot lane.
Bottom. Rockets up, 3-3, running in the trees, cutting through, a Matthew on top of him, and he ain't getting away. Matthew with the first blood. That just started with a rebound. He saw the rocket being channeled up, the homing missile, and 3-3, he was just dead before he knew it.
Yeah, interesting start to this lane, actually. I wasn't necessarily expecting the kill to happen that quickly. Sax, I thought, would be able to aggress them away, but seems like he was in a situation where he wasn't getting too quick enough, and then even if he did drop the tombstone, it was too little too late. But Skidder in the top lane. Good choice to start with the wand on this lane.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these wands, and I think that kind of just goes to the meta in general. Back to, again, a lot of spells being thrown out, especially for the laning phase. And speaking of that, once again, Matthew now the one that's getting low, but he'll be fine. Not afraid to brawl down here at the bottom, though. You see the Ring of Basilisk on Soniqs, so again, a lot of these items that warrant wanting to fight early and often.
Yeah, I think like the pain of decay is just a lot less than it used to be, right? Because at the end, you're just going to get the health back, whereas it used to be a lot more frustrating, especially for the Undying. I think he's just got better at sustaining because you essentially just get healed once you start losing strength. You need to not be low health already like this. Saxa looking like he is going to go down, and that key detail there, level 3 first on Pakaz. Gyrocopter is zooming forward. I think actually if you look at this lane where it's all going wrong is a slight XP advantage for Thunder has now led to this snowball effect. And Tundra are going to be playing from behind. Had 33 got level 3 first and level 2 on the Undying, we could be looking at this going the other way.
Now, I was almost expecting a Sunstrike to come out on a Matthews. He was also very low right there, but I noticed Invoker, he was dealing with his own issue with the Alchemist diving on top of him, and it didn't seem like he had even enough mana anyway. So, again, it's one of those instances where you're kind of sitting here as a spectator like, just Sunstrike, dude, but obviously he's prioritizing other things as well when it comes down to it. But that will be something to continue to look out for as these fights are clearly happening in the laning phase. But yeah, the slight level advantage is certainly benefiting Thunder Awaken early on. I mean, you still see Undying at level 2, trying to get that level 3 at least.
Yeah, it's a bit different for Beastmaster these days because he doesn't do the wild boar build that much anymore, at least from the games we've been seeing. But it always used to be that Beastmaster's counter on the lane was level 2 impact combos. So it used to be Faceless Void Snapfire was the go-to counter to, for example, Rubik Beastmaster. And I think it's similar in this kind of lane, except for Saxa getting too slower, it really hurt him. And speaking of Saxa, he's going in deep because Matthew tries to save him, but that's way too many zombies. I thought we were an action game, not a thriller. Matthew is learning the hard way that this is a horror show.
I really wonder what percentage of the audience is going to understand what you really just said right there, but either way, it was clever. I definitely give you props for that one. But yeah, no, great fight for the side of Tundra, clearly, and they get a couple of kills on the board. That's got to feel good for them. But yeah, those Wild Axes actually doing some decent damage, now level 2. Out of Beastmaster and underestimating the dive potential, I suppose you could say. As top lane, apparently the clashing back and forth Crystal Maiden goes down. And Sacred can't do much more about that.
Yeah, it's interesting that the delay on this happening in this top lane, right? Because it spun the other way originally. So what surprised me about that is I expected a CK and a Snapfire to make a kill happen, especially on a Crystal Maiden at level 2. Interestingly enough, it took them until level 3. So at least some credit to Panda on his positioning. I think this is the type of lane where you are expected to die a few times. It's way too much movement, it's way too much stuns, and Sacred can't really do much to protect you either.
Kind of a side note here, but was just hitting me. It's not often nowadays, especially when we have a mid matchup where neither hero is really interested in getting a bottle earlier on, but neither Invoker or Alchemist are heroes you'd expect to see that on, and neither one has one. So just kind of a slight thing there as far as the rune control not as high priority in the end.
If I had to play Alchemist in these metas, I'd get a bowl. Not in game, in real life. I mean, it's a hard life right now. It feels like drafts come at you really fast, and I'm curious to see what Dark Maga can do that will stop him from needing to pull one out. Because while you can farm fast, there's no denying, especially the games we've seen, even though they've been going long, the pressure in the mid game is overwhelming. And there's an argument that these games going longer hurts Alchemist because every other hero naturally scales.
Top lane, Dawnbreaker trying to survive, doesn't have help nearby, but as we know, she is a little tankier. Infused Raindrop on her as well, so she will manage to just keep running away and going to be fine. Speaking of Dark Mago, he's in the jungle, and let the Jungle Alchemist begin. Taking over a stack right there, but Invoker's going to accept the free farm.
Here's the impressive detail for you, though. Look who's in second place in the net worth. 33. He's doing phenomenal considering how this lane began for them, and it's just credit to Space Saxa made. Space is now going to be denied as they do rotate a third hero down here. They even get the Tombstone as a bonus.
I feel like we're seeing that a lot from Undying players, KP, where it's like, oh, here, let's set up a turnaround. And they throw down the Tombstone right before they die. It's like there was never a chance of a turnaround there. I don't know what the logic was, honestly. It's just almost in the moment, you're just so panicked and trying to make a play, and that's just plus 150 the other way. So a little unfortunate, but.
You know what it is? It's that pub game mentality. They're going to flame me if anything I have is off cooldown. So if I just press all the buttons, they can't say I didn't try.
Perhaps that's where he was at. But either way, not the end of the world. Just one of those kind of minor things that you never really just want to give that free gold to the other team, of course. But what's done is done. But yeah, to your point about Beastmaster, he did die early on. Obviously, they got those couple of kills themselves, though, and his CS is managing to look very impressive. Helm of the Dominator already online, as you'd expect. But really, all the cores outside of, I guess, Chaos Knight is one that's a little bit more noticeable. Skitter not doing as well as you would hope for, but he's also not that far behind.
No, he had that death. That definitely set him back. CS is okay, but net worth, he's the lowest out of all the cores. You know, the interesting thing to think about in this game is that rotation on bot coming from the CM. As it pulls that forward, it looks like it's going to be a Hellbear going down with a lot of cash in the hands, because that's 33's Helmet Dom. But like, just to quickly highlight this point, like usually around the 5-6 minute mark, you see this Marcy just rotate in and guarantee a kill. Usually she's the one rotating somewhere. But it's kind of funny how they're just seeing this as the pressure point, because naturally the Beastmaster can't protect you. If you go to top lane, in comparison, these two guys cover each other. Skitter can throw out stun to save, the cookie can be used by snaking. They can cover fire to get each other out of a jam.
Yeah. You already see the level 2 aura from Crystal Maiden as well, that Arcane aura, so Once again, certainly assisting. Bottom lane, they are going in. They want the Beastmaster, but Undying will be what they settle for. But yeah, TP in from Snaky, so they kill the Tombstone pretty quickly. This time, very good placement, but Saksa not able to withstand the barrage damage. And not much more Snapfire could do right there. She had a cookie, but it wasn't able to be used appropriately, so they do get the kill on Undying, and another Tombstone kill on top of that.
That was actually good reluctance from Tundra in the end. The thing I was worried about there is watching for Sacred at all times. He has level 6, he has Solar Guardian. He was regenning in the fountain, so he's ready to arrive, and he's going to arrive this time. Beastmaster confidently walked out, but no good reason to feel that confident. Finally, the rotation comes in from the Dawnbreaker.
They were aware of it, sure, KP, but you always have to be aware of that as long as it's off cooldown. And yeah, I mean, it's you can't necessarily fault 3-3 at that point. I mean, you have to play the lane in the end, but yeah, that's just good communication on the side of Tundra Awaken. And it's basically been a tri-lane here for the last 2-3 minutes even with Crystal Maiden. She's just been down here because she doesn't need to protect the Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is just fine at the top lane by herself at this point. And you see right there, that's why too, because she can also come in and assist and force that fight further. So yeah, Tundra Awaken living up to their reputation that they're playing aggressive, and they already got the 6 hero kills.
Kill. You know, the interesting thing is there's always this discussion about Marcy and how broken her ultimate makes her look, but I think sometimes you have to look earlier in the game. Between the great movement speed she starts with, and once she reaches level 4 and has her full toolkit with 2 points in 1, she can rotate, she can make kills happen. That's why Matthew isn't panicking the lack of XP he's getting. He also knows that a CM doesn't really care if she gets slow XP towards 6, right? That's not a big impactful ult often. So if they get the opportunity to just find kill after kill, which this combo can, they're going to seek and destroy. And I love this move by Thunder as a result. It does, of course, give free farm over to Skidder, but he's not going to farm fast, especially if you further enable the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, it gets to a point where he's not that carry that you just really want to make sure you're constantly locking down and prioritize that over everything else. You've done your job in the early laning phase. Now kind of play your game and let yourself breathe as far as your strategy goes. And the natural progression of playing aggressive is going to force Chaos Knight, if anything, to try to get himself involved, which won't be as fun as you like. So it's just that kind of next level thinking, right, that I feel like is certainly to be appreciated from Tundra Awaken right there. But speaking of farm, I mean, Alchemist, shocker statement about to come, I know, but he's not lacking it. He's getting plenty of farm. 6,600 net worth. Yeah, he's looking healthy, and he has enough for a Sacred Relic. Well on his way to that. We're going to see about, what, like a 13-minute Radiance at the most?
Yeah, it feels like that. It's going to be really good timing for it. It's just then a case of what can you do with it. Looking at Thunder's draft, they don't necessarily push towers quickly in this game, right? Like, not early on. Once they escalate on this out, he'll naturally take them, but their goal is to take a fight into a tower. They can never just show up and push. That's kind of the difference with Tundra's lineup. Whether it's your Invoker, your Beastmaster, or even eventually your Chaos Knight, they can just walk up to a lane and club a tower down very confidently.
Yeah. This Gyrocopter, we haven't seen a call, or we did see the call then, I guess, with that Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian, but again, that's one of those abilities. It goes back to just Gyrocopter, how he's able to fight earlier on, and certainly shorter. I guess it's 90 seconds right now, but it gets shorter. But yeah, the smoke play coming in the middle lane, wrapping around.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about the Venn diagrams, though. We just need to talk about the stunts. Plenty of them for Marcy.
Oh, 9 gets the kill thanks to that Sun Strike. So looks like Tundra's strategy now is meet together. The Phantasm was committed, and let's just push the mid tower, they say. So with all 5 heroes here, I don't think Tundra Awaken's going to defend this one.
No, that's the detail I was talking about, right? Is like Thunder, they don't want it to get to this point. They don't want to try and defend a tower at this stage. What they want to have happen is they see that Tundra is split, they get a kill, and then they're like, okay, now that we're here, we can take an objective. But even then, it's not going to be fast. And that's the threat for them, I think. Like, yes, you can talk about how amazing this Alchemist is, but he takes up a lot of space. He farms a lot. He wants a lot of the map. So you need to find a way of unlocking more of that. And if these tier 1s stand for too long, I think that's where Thunder might end up crippled.
Well, I noticed right there, the Alchemist got his Radiance, he turned it off, and then the smoke came out. So you'll see this. Obviously, he doesn't want to give away extra information while they're in this smoke, but he's got the Radiance. Do not be fooled by being deactivated currently. They're heading to the top lane, snaking. He's just going to hide in the trees. They're pretty aware that this is happening. The scan hit, and they're just going to play very defensively postured, but will it be defensive enough? Darkma goes in. Concoction. He's trying to get his range. I don't think he's going to.
No, that's a rough one.
They're pretty aware that this is happening. The scan hit, and They're just going to play very defensively postured, but will it be defensive enough? Darkma goes in. Concoction. He's trying to get a range. I don't think he's going to.
No, that's a rough one. 33 min-maxed that perfectly. Cleaned up the wave, and the creep counts rather just in time and backed out, which is even more infuriating, actually, because Thunder, they rotate an Alchemist. He wastes all this time. He's not farming. And there's no creeps to hang around and farm in that area either because they're taken out. So you see he goes back to the side of the map. They do manage to now push on the tier 1 tower, but you see how much they have to rotate to even threaten these objectives.
Yeah, that's certainly to the credit of Tundra there as far as picking up on the read of what was actually happening, and that's what causes Alchemist to miss out on a bit of farm, because hey, if they get a hero kill or two out of that, it's certainly worth it as far as the smoke game goes, but essentially wasting a good minute or so when he just gets the Radiance. I mean, you know that he's feeling bad about that, but hey, he's got the Radiance now, he's back into the jungle, back where he belongs in a sense, and he's going to continue to improve that farm, of course, already with the BKB queued up. But Chaos Knight, he's trying to progress, continuing, going for that Echo Saber, has the armlet. Invoker choosing to go the drums, knowing that this is going to be a very active game. Obviously an item that can assist with that.
It's incredibly valuable in this game. Just a minor death on Saxa. It's just an undying whoop-de-doo. But the bigger detail to those drums you're talking about, look at the lineup around him. Beastmaster and Chaos Knight. There's a lot of attack speed to be juiced out to all these different units, from the illusions to all the summoned armies. So definitely a good pickup from 9. I love the way that he's gone for this exhort build with the Midas that's usually seen as more greedy, but he's found a way to still complement his team lineup so he's able to fight and be useful earlier on.
And he's going to have the boots of travel now delivered. So yeah, 9 is really ramping up that farm, and again, he's behind the Alchemist naturally, but he's keeping up with the Gyrocopter. And of course with the top lane, and going to push that one out, but here comes the rotations. No, he's going to get away.
They didn't know. They don't know necessarily exactly where they are. I think that maybe... Okay, no, they did. My mistake. They actually broke the smoke. Yep. Look at the vision in the dire jungle. It was right on the edge as Seika was running down the ramp. It just about broke. It's actually crippling, like, how close that was to being successful. Those would have been big kills as well.
Yep, so avoids the gank. And oh yeah, I'm sorry if you mentioned this too, but Snapfire even picking up the drums. We talked about the Invoker getting it, but Snapfire also. So really just more to the point that they really understand where this game is going to be, if not already at, in terms of a lot of fighting to be had, and it is good synergy with the lineup.
It's like, oh man, drums only last 6 seconds, 30-second cooldown. Guys, can we just all build drums? You know, just constant uptime, and then just follow up with the drums of Slom? Just so that we're the full drummer band.
Wonder if that's going to be a thought, actually, for the Beastmaster. If anything, just for the theme, you know, the cosmetic theme of what's going on right here.
We've seen a few teams build it, right? I think, was it BetBoom that were frequently doing it?
I forget who did, but yeah,
bad. Yeah, it didn't look bad. It's just the team kept losing, which is why I'm tempted to say BetBoom. As they weren't obviously able to convert many. I think it was BetBoom. But, like, overall, the damage isn't that terrible, right? 110 damage per hit, then you heal all of your army around you. Someone who needs more heals than this little Seed of Serenity on the floor, though, will be Snaking.
I mean, they really wanted that kill. The call down wasn't necessarily going to do a whole lot right there, so I was wondering what the point of that was, but with the homing missile being channeled up, he was confident to chase and even Panda Moo pop in the freezing field as they got in range, and yeah, they do kill the Snapfire when it's all said and done, so. Pursuit is successful, as you see Alchemist. He's a couple of creeps away from that full BKB.
Sacred. In trouble. We'll get him away, though. Cold Snap is spooking. And now they're TPing in here. This is very dangerous to try and defend. Look at the positioning right now at Tundra. As soon as Snapfire's in range, Kisses are going to party. Phantasm on the backside, moves in to drive back from Sacred. Stun is going to come out. Matthew trying to save the day by getting rid of the Tombstone. Sacred able to walk off out of the Sunstrike. Matthew in a bit deep though, so Marcy should go down. Panda Moo as well. And you got to hesitate to defend this. I mean, Thunder, they're coming in with Dark Mago, but I'm not sure what you can do other than die here. Mistakes have been made. Primal War was committed, and now they might end up losing Sacred as well. He tries to save a hero. Save a hero syndrome will be his downfall. And just like that, a tier 2 push turns into a tier 3.
Well, you mentioned it from before the game even started, KP, talking about Thunder Awaken, and yes, they are an aggressive team. But what comes with the aggression, it's live by the sword, die by the sword. And thus all those deaths that also come as a result. And yeah, that right there, the Alchemist specifically, he had no place being there at that point. I mean, it was a lost cause. He just got tempted enough to see what he could do. And Tundra certainly made him pay. So the TPing into attempting to defend certainly can appreciate. Now, they didn't have a gyrocopter either from the beginning, so I think that was definitely an oversight too from Thunder Awakening. The only way that they were going to be able to contest, perhaps they just didn't know that all of Tundra was there, as some of the heroes, specifically that Chaos Knight, was hiding initially, to be fair. So, but well played by Tundra. They obviously capitalized big time to get the bottom tier 2 all those hero kills, and another kind of reset and get their next tier of items. But Thunder Awaken, not going to waste much time in terms of resetting themselves and pushing mid 1.
Why is Sneaking doing that?
Okay. Well.
I mean, I guess he was warming up the bot lane for another push. They're actually going to try to get vengeance, though. Dark Mago, it's not a kill at this point. He's got BKB, Prime Rules on cooldown for 20 seconds. But to your point, like, they're playing into an area where their opponents have vision. It's a very dangerous game. And Mago, like I said, he's got the BKB. He'll walk this off. Vision will spot the rotation from the rest of the team, but they're going to catch out Skidder, the best target. He'll go for the TP away. Good luck with that one, but there's a Mars in the neighborhood.
I mean, even with the Dawnbreaker, she had the Starbreak. I don't think he ever TPs out of there, actually. Talk about being desperate. You know, he thought that was his only play, I suppose, at that point. And he'll just be dead for 40 seconds instead.
That screams of hunger, though. This desire to kill the Alchemist is weird as well. I don't know if they realized they broke even on the net worth after what happened bot originally. Just feels like that double down to kill the Alch straight away again costs them so much in the end. A lot of wasted time having all these heroes down here, Skidder falling as well. And now as a result of that, it gives an opportunity for Thunder to move in and deward this entire area. A lot of the value is gone down here for Tundra, yes, but it's still a reclaim of territory for an Alchemist to now farm.
Yeah, look at this Invoker. I love how he's using the Forged Spirits as really just kind of vision and spotting the enemy team to make sure that he's playing safe enough. So he's going to be fine as he pushes out the bottom lane, but wanted to address the Roshan, and we're at 20 minutes now, and both of these teams do have, you know, decent Roshan killing teams. So you got to figure that that's maybe a factor here as far as the teams attempting to play around the Roshan pit. And as I say this, both teams happen to be in that area currently. Could be engaging.
Yeah, Thunder have to guard it. I don't think they go in. Tundra are just incredibly quick if they get in that pit for free. Dark Mago looking to hunt. Prime Royal's going to come out. Follow up now with the Solar Guardian to arrive, but 33 is going to be force-staffed out of danger here. Whipped onto. Tombstone is going to be dropped, and Sax is trying to create the space to get the rest of Tundra out, which he will do successfully.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Undying's job right there, but the dive. They might find the Courier, but 33 would be the one that they want, of course, and he's going to end up stunning himself as he's unable to find the Beastmaster. So yeah, Undying doing a good job of kind of sacrificing himself right there, delaying them as long as possible, not allowing for the engagement to take place. But here's that Roshan. It's going to be Thunder, however the kiss is. Snake King says, "Mwah, you ain't doing that." Well, now it's
Kiss
over.
farewell. But not for long, because now the Alchemist wants this objective, and what Alchemist wants, Alchemist gets. Now Tundra, they do have the Tombstone Bearer alive again. Without it for 30 seconds, unlikely they're going to fight. So big advantage now to Thunder, getting their hands on the first Roche.
Get this to the Jaro? Yeah.
Definitely.
Pick it up.
Yeah, like your Alch shouldn't be dying, is what I'll say in these fights. Like, if he dies, you are in dire consequences of this game. That's why it's good that he didn't die again bot. And by the way, just back to that point, because I mentioned that Tundra are being overly greedy, but there's good reason. If they killed the Alchemist back-to-back, Thunder's game completely falls apart. Because Alch can't be played from behind. It's not the way the hero is designed. So that plus what just happened to Roche, very clutch moments, because now they have a way of participating and showing up with all 5 heroes, and also finally starting to take more objectives, something that we said Thunder struggled with early on.
Yeah, and obviously Roshan a big part of that. So they have the 2 tower kills so far. Going to continue to progress to take out more. As I talk about that, Skidder, he's just farming away in the bottom jungle. He's almost got his BKB finish. He needs that Ogre-X. Quickly bottom lane. 9 is going to combo, but not necessarily going to go for a follow-up. Sunstrike gets, a little close there.
Yeah, I think if that connects, he has... It's not quite enough damage, right? Because I think it caps out at 540. So Jaro would have survived on like 200 health, but if the Forged Spirits got ignored, if he panicked, then, you know, Aegis gone.
Yeah, does not connect. So, but Invoker does have a blink, and his own BKB is coming along too. He's just going for the full activatable build. I always respect this, honestly. Invoker's already tough enough, just all those spells and using them appropriately in these fights, and then you throw like every single item slot having an activatable ability as well, an activatable item. It's just like, God, it's impressive.
Does feel good. Yeah, no. They're feeling good about going hunting here on the side of Thunder. They move down the mid lane. Mago's going to show. They know that 33 is nearby, but they're going to go deeper looking for targets. However, Skidder has moved south side. Looks like they might not connect with the prime targets. They'll have to settle for 33 instead. They will hop straight on top, and Prime War's going to come out. Looks like the team's going to commit to a fight, dodge it out on the Starbreaker. They're in pretty deep. Thunder need to think about retreating here. Reinforcements for Thunder are arriving. They are going to commit the Solar Guardian, going deeper. Offered up an opportunity. 33 gets taken out. Saxa is down, and that might actually end up being not just a tier 2 tower, a tier 3 as well.
To be fair, KP, they did not only think about retreating, they did retreat, but the dive from Thunder Awaken, they went all the way to the tier 3 tower, even with the tier 2 up to kill that Beastmaster, and then the Undying was just a nice dessert for them to take advantage of as well. So the 2 kills, and they still have the Sages. They get the tier 2 and Vector Protection initially, but eventually wears off. Now this isn't Invoker, so not the easiest to continue to push into, but he's already thrown out his Tornado, just gonna Ice Wall behind if they want to dive. This is probably tier 3.
Yeah, he probably want to get a little bit closer if he could off the Ice Wall, because if you can slow 1 or 2 of these heroes, the Kisses can come out, but unable to get the opportunity. Snaking is now going to be forced to commit it just to get them away before the tier 3 tower goes down. Heavy damage being done. The chop on the Gyrocopter and Cold Snap as well. That's going to be the Aegis gone right outside the base. This is a dangerous position for Thunder. That's BKB. He's going to be able to move away. Tombstone won't threaten him enough, but he did have to use the BKB, and now this is where Tundra will hop out and look for a kill.
9 goes in. Tornado, the Ice Wall put down. Matthew, he's going to feel that slow. Nice force staff away to his teammate, though. Gyrocopter in better positioning, but not good enough. He's forced to fight. The Flat Cannon is not going to be good enough. Hitting a move with the Freezing Field, though. It's some good damage, but he will eventually fall as well. It's Alchemist, the sole survivor. TP's back to base, going to push out this bottom lane push that's happening, but Tundra, what a fight. I mean, what seemed like a lost cause. They saved the tower, by the way. It was down to 40 life, and Thunder Awaken could not finish it. And then they capitalized in terms of them attempting to run. Well played.
Yeah, the patience shown was key there. You got to a point where that tower's almost done, and Thunder like, well, this is an easy finish. Kisses come out of nowhere, and you're panicking at that stage. It's too late to dive onto Snaking. You know that the rest of the heroes are going to be in position on Tundra, so you have to try and retreat. And one detail I loved here is 33 that Primal Roar. He went for the Ultra Marine Core build, which means he has the additional range to catch a Gyrocopter that far away. If it isn't for the Primal Roar, that Gyro potentially turns that fight on the high ground of the Freezing Field. So I loved here is 33 that Primal Roar. He went for the Ultra Marine Core build, which means he has the additional range to catch a Gyrocopter that far away. If it isn't for the Primal Roar, that Gyro potentially turns that fight on the high ground of the Freezing Field. But lacking that follow-up from the Gyro just means that Thunder fold in the die jungle.
You see right there. A little bit of a stretch after the fact. It's like, okay, it happened. You're dead. Use that time to stretch, but it's now that 2,000 overall net worth lead for Tundra, but we fooled by that because, again, Alchemist, he's still very comfortably ahead. 5,000 plus really over anyone else, and trying to finish that Assault Kuros. He did not have that in that previous fight, so that's going to be crucial. But yeah, of course, it's Alchemist. He has to have this lead. So yeah, he's definitely doing what he needs to, but still, pointing out.
It still doesn't feel good because, like, you understand that if Tundra have decent net worth and all the 3 heroes, they complement each other really well. It's not necessarily the same for Thunder. You know, the Alchemist doesn't necessarily enable the Gyrocopter further. It's kind of his own independent course of action in this game. And something like Gyrocopter, BKB gets forced out for free hit. They can just walk away. They did insta-cancel the Kisses, and that was noticed. So Snaking without his ultimate for 110 seconds.
Yeah, not the end of the world, but as you pointed out, especially if Thunder Awaken noticed that, then could feel a bit more confident in engaging into that fight. Granted, the BKB use changes that mentality a little bit, perhaps. Gyrocopter is trying to finish that Satanic. Still needs the Reaver, though, that expensive item, so it's not going to be happening very shortly. And Thunder's not going away. They're still hanging out as far as outside of the base, and Thunder's starting to push out now to defend the tier 2, but it's going to be too much damage. The Ancient Black Dragon is there, and now Tundra starting to fall back slightly. But this could be the case where Thunder Awaken's going to try to capitalize now with Tundra running away, but they're not going to.
It's so difficult to do it without a smoke. Like, you notice that detail there, the Hawk just flies into mid and spots them, and now they know someone's alone in the bot lane because of that detail. They'll hop straight in. Sacred is gone. Vision is power, and power is everything.
That's a huge pick. Now, she has a buyback, so that's one of those things if you're Tundra. You certainly want to keep in mind, especially being the Dawnbreaker. Of course, she could have just Solar Guardian in after the buyback. So it kind of is still a 5 versus 5 is the point. If you're Tundra here in that mentality, that would be the case. But yeah, I mean, they're controlling outside of the base of Thunder Awaken, and Thunder Awaken clearly is feeling it in terms of Pax kind of feeling it. Yeah, Gyrocopter. Kaz might be in trouble.
Trying to get in range. Free. He loses vision. He was about to scream, but he couldn't quite keep his eyes on it. Saxa, look how far he's going. They drag him out. No. Primal Roar now comes out of Dark Mago. Solar Guardian can't save him. The buyback feels like a waste unless Pakaz can clean up. One down, but plenty to go. Saxa stands his ground with the tombstone there, but will be cleaned up in the end. But Tundra will take that fight every day of the week.
They will. Now, we do see the presence of Gyrocopter right there when he's able to enable himself with the call down and the flat cannon use. Like, he was dishing out crazy damage. So, let's not overlook that fact. But yes, Tundra, they do get the kill on Alchemist. I gotta say, another case of a little bit of overextension there on the part of Alchemist in terms of going in when he really shouldn't have. Or maybe there was some sort of miscommunication there, I don't know. But point is, Tundra, they do win the fight because of that. But there is that little bit of intimidation factor, I feel like. That, yes, the Alchemist is certainly the farm tier on the end, but this Gyrocopter, they need to be sure to lock him down like they did in that previous fight when they won chasing them out of their base.
Well, it's because there's been a passing of the baton, literally, in this situation. If you check the Gyro, you notice he's suddenly got an axe, courtesy of Dark Mago. So Dark Mago is finally handing over his heritage, right? The lead to his Gyrocopter to take control of the game, which is why you see them essentially switch spots in the network. But now they're going to Gyrocopter. The Primal Roar comes out. He's gone. Thunder's hopes are now being crushed. Sacred is going to be found on the side. That will be a dieback. No way he's getting out of this one. Gone for 70 seconds. Gyrocopter dead for 40. We could be looking at lane here.
Tundra deserves so much credit here. Yes, the vision is another big factor right there. You see the ward in the lane. They're jumping appropriately, but I'm honestly at a loss as to what Thunder Awaken's doing now several times. From the Alchemist bottom lane to right, why is Gyrocopter pushing as if he has an Aegis in his inventory? It just seems a little ambitious. In fact, I'm going to say it seems way too ambitious. If you're Thunder Awakening, it feels like they gotta kind of pull back a little bit. As a team, they are strong, but their cores, Alchemist and the Gyrocopter, unfortunately just keep getting caught a little too far ahead. But I go back to Tundra, certainly deserving the credit for capitalizing on those slight mistakes, and now they're gonna capitalize with a rope.
Definitely. It feels like with Awaken in the name, they need to wake up, because I don't think they're giving respect to the combo for Tundra. You just saw how visceral this is. We mentioned the fact that there's a complementary element to these three cores. They all enable each other. It's not the same on the other side. Everything for the Gyro, anything for the Gyro, but there's just not enough save. If you think about Thunder's draft, it's not about how do we keep the Gyro alive like an IO lineup would be. It's how do we make the Gyro kill even more people. That only works if he's not stun-locked perma at the start of the fight. And, you know, I did like the idea of this Marcy as a pseudo-IO with the healing and the movement speed that she can give, but she doesn't offer up that same layer of protection that you would otherwise have with a Gyro IO.
I mean, the BKBs and the inventories have essentially been useless for both the Gyrocopter and the Alchemist in these several fights. So, the point I want to continue... Well, yeah, the point I continue to want to get at, though, is I imagine if they use those BKBs and if they are maybe playing a little more appropriately with the positioning, relying on the supports to help them, then the damage that can happen. But
got it. That's like when people in my game like, imagine if we won a fight. It's like, well, that'd be great. Right. The problem is, like, genuinely, it's this build from 33. Look at the range on Primal Roar, the Octarine. Like, it feels like you're always just out of vision, especially at nighttime. Tundra have been pouncing at nighttime frequently on purpose. They smoke, they get just in range. Primal Roar comes out, and even if you're the quickest fingers in the world, if you're the quickest drawer in the West, you are probably still going to be gunned down by Tundra.
5-player smoke. Tundra looking for another jump. Then they found one. They find the Marcy, a prime target, but they'll pick her up. She does have buyback, but now they catch Gyrocopter. Yep, the hot in the side. There's the Primal Roar. Dawnbreaker coming in, trying to save the day. BKB gets it off just in time. And now here's the turn potential. Pops the Satanic. Alchemist jumps in as well. Skinner trying to hold his ground the best that he can. He's going to take out one, but now he's in trouble. They do kill Beastmaster. Does Thunder Awaken, and Pakaz is doing some damage as expected. There's the kill on Skinner. Over here, the sheep up on Alchemist, but he's already done his job. In fact, Snake King's dead as well, and they are going to catch 9 once again. And 9 will fall. They only lose the Dawnbreaker in the big picture beyond the Marcy buyback. Triple kill for the Alchemist. That is more like it if you're Thunder Awaken.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So the big detail there is Skidder, like, they juke him out on the side. They just drew with him long enough with the gyrocopter. Meanwhile, the rest of the team chased on the east side of the fight to get rid of the Invoker, because that's the reset. Aegis gets out of the way. All of a sudden, an Invoker at a choke point like that can turn things around with the Tornado, with the EMP, and BKB's running out. So Thunder made the correct read in that situation. If Invoker is still alive when Skidder comes back up, this Chaos Knight probably goes beast mode and is able to turn on the gyrocopter. But just a great read in that fight from Thunder. Shaky start as well. The way it got split, the gyrocopter got found out to the north, the Hex opened up to cause the panic, but I love the way that Thunder were calm and contemplative in the way they reset, and now as a result they're able to plow across the field. They find the first lane despite Tundra's control through most of this game. Now Tundra have to reassess the way they take these fights, because next time they're not even going to have an Aegis on their side.
And I love the item progression of Gyrocopter too. The Satanic was the beginning of that, as we're going to see right here once again. Marcy, like I said, not the ideal hero, but they found the pick off there. Was that catch on Gyrocopter? But well, I mean, Chaos Knight, again, in hindsight, imagine if he just went for the jump on Gyrocopter instead, waited with a little more patience there, then obviously he's probably blowing up. But that, I mean, that's easy for us to say. It was understandable they went for the Marcy there initially. But yeah, how close it was is my point. But if they don't finish it off, then there's that turn that comes out. So
the thing you have to think about here, Breaky, is like if they don't go after Marcy first, then Sidekick comes out because she'll arrive. You know how Marcy's are. It doesn't matter where they are on the map. The fight starts and they're just there. She'll get the Sidekick out onto the gyrocopter and he'll lifesteal through the engagement. So their only choice is to remove the support elements of this gyrocopter lineup. So I don't necessarily hold grudge against them for going after the Marcy first. I think the tough issue there is that the Solar Guardian done a lot more than they expected. That heal at level 3, the pulse heal, I think was the difference between Gyro living or dying at the end of that initial engagement.
And you look at Dawnbreaker, she's going for the Ags as well. Another 1,000 gold. Gonna have a buffed up Solar Guardian. And, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is save the Gyrocopter, let him win the game. So you're gonna do everything. And that even goes back to the earlier Forest Staff for Marcy. I know she's had it for a long time, but to stress that point, yeah, the Forest Staff is clearly a tool that's been useful. With the Crystal Maiden, I guess, too, has one. So
it's funny because usually when you look at Alchemist lineups, like, how does the Alchemist win the game? But the more you look at this, you realize it was just always about the Gyrocopter. From the Ags pickup by Dawnbreaker to the way that Mago is itemized, like, just naturally, he's able to kind of save the day. He gave the Ags to enable the Gyro further. He's got Shivas, he's got Assault Cuirass, he's got Radiance. They're doing everything they can to make Skidder's attempt at fighting irrelevant. Like, these Phantasm Illusions feel almost like they're just going to tickle, not kill.
The smoke got exposed. You saw the chemical rage coming out immediately, but it's no jump that takes place. I want to point out Chaos Knight going the Bloodthorn. Already has that answer for the Butterfly of Gyrocopter over there, so that's of course a great item to have. We mentioned the Scythe already on Valkyrie. He's had it for a bit.
Wait, so that's 35% evasion on him. Then there's a 60% evasion that's going to come out from Ags Dawnbreaker. Then, of course, there's going to be the 15% evasion that comes out from the Radiance. How do you actually hit him? I actually don't know how Skidder's meant to do his job in these fights anymore.
You pray to the Dota gods.
Oh, okay. I just noticed he completed a Bloodthorn, so there is a way, but if there's BKBs, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, no, so that's the item progression right there with Bloodthorn, and Refresher being worked on Evoker too to go with that Scythe. That's a great pickup if he eventually is able to get that here before the next fight breaks out. The Halberd on Beastmaster too. I know he's had that for a little bit, but again, these tools to deactivate. So just like they're doing everything to save the Gyrocopter inside of Thunder Awaken, Tundra's doing everything and building everything to just deactivate the Gyrocopter and obviously kill him as soon as possible. So it's going to be fun to see this next fight in terms of just the focus on Gyro, who's going to win that battle.
Yeah, the name of the game is don't let him BKB. Like, everything that you just listed off is like, don't let him BKB. Sheepstick, obviously you can't use on him if BKB'd. Can't put Heaven's Halberd on him if BKB'd, but it'll be there if he then does afterwards. Every single element is Bloodthorn as well, so you don't have to worry about the evasion. It requires that he's not BKB'd. So make no mistake about it, like Tundra, if they get a pick like they did earlier on the mid, where the Gyrocopter just obliviously gets Primal Roared at the start, he'll still die. I don't actually think Thunder have enough to save him in a 5-on-5 engagement without his magic immunity. So while Thunder, I would give them the edge here because of how strong this Gyro is and how they've counted out their opponents, it still comes down to the execution of the fights.
Yeah, nope, absolutely. And that's what we certainly appreciate in these games is having it come down to a point of initiation ultimately. That's when you know the game's close. And I think that's certainly where we're at as you're suggesting there. So. Alchemist working on a overwhelming blink. Still a little bit away before he's going to have that, but he's going going to go that direction, which makes sense, especially with the inventory being pretty full. Lincoln's for Gyrocopter. So he's got the gold, but it's one of those cases. Courier's actually dead. And, of course, there's the buyback situation. But Lincoln's a fantastic item to have, of course.
I mean, I mentioned the Primal Roar as well as the Hex now, right? So once again, it's like, how do I deal with this threat? There's still a way that they can kill him. One Lincoln's isn't going to be good enough, but considering Alchemist's item progression, I wouldn't be surprised if he eventually tries to make room for Lincoln's himself. You know, go for the classic double, triple Lincolns type build that we used to see in the days of the good old Necro spam.
Some Lotus Orbs even. I mean, Dawnbreaker, yeah, going for the Lincolns too. So, oh, that's...
yeah, they'll find CM. That was almost a whoopsie, though, because they cookied and 33 Pathfinder to the south, so they weren't there as quickly as possible. Luckily, they had the sheep stick to catch CM mid-TP.
Interesting. CM doing a bit of counterweight out there. Now she has a buyback, so that's why she's comfortable to do that, but attempting to try to reclaim some vision on the map, and that's something that Tundra has continued to capitalize on, even with that last fight going in favor of Thunder Awaken. They really control the map still. As we control the map, top lane, Alchemist.
He has to be BKB.
Fine, but no, he's not going
to. Okay, oh, well, Marcy might want to. She's been brought low. She's staying alive. She's able to get away. Skidder almost goes down in the end. BKB will save him, though.
Wow. I was surprised to see Chaos Knight actually jump in there. And I think he was surprised himself that he did. He's immediately regretted it. Try to finish off that Marcy. That is not worth it at all, but at least he survives.
You get tempted as well, because like usually Marcy has a BKB in these type of games, right? If you look at her items, she's poorer than CM. She only has a 4-star, so Marcy, although she saves the day, it's very dangerous. And the interesting difference is it goes back to the idea that it's all about enabling gyro. Usually Marcy's about how do I stop a carry, but not this time around. Speaking of carry though, Dawnbreaker has been found out. Once again, have to retreat, and Skidder needs to be careful because this time he doesn't have magic immunity. Meatballs being dropped onto the salad, but I don't know if Skidder can turn this. Stun's going to come out, tries to go for the kill on the CM, but he gives his life over in the end. 3 are dead on the side of Thunder, though. Invoker just picking and poking at the side here. Allows him to take the lead.
Alchemist going in. The concoction, though, going to be lifted up by the tornado. Comes back down. The ice wall put down. Gyrocopter's in trouble. Crystal Maiden buys back, trying to get here to help save his teammate. Gyrocopter, flat cannons. He's got Satanic in 10 seconds. If he can hold this out, Tundra wants to kill it, but it's such a difficult ask when they've already used so much. Initially, Soniqs is going to get beat down, and the rest will retreat. So this is one of these fights, KP, where you analyze it now after the fact. It's like initially your thought is, oh my god, that was so good for Tundra, but not so much, especially with Chaos Knight dying. I will say the thing that I noticed from the very beginning of that was that 3-3 wasn't there initially, and if he was, I think it's a completely different story. And then also Invoker, he had to TP to the bottom lane, and then he took a little bit of time to get there when that fight first broke out. So Tundra didn't have everyone there, and considering that, I think that actually went a little bit better than it could have, or it could have been better, I should say.
Yeah, it's the classic, what is my carry doing? Oh, God. You saw them just panic rush. Like, I give a lot of credit across to 9 there, kind of clutching that up in the end, at least getting some return kills with his backstab. But, man, the delayed arrival of reinforcements, I'm surprised Skidder went in. That's the type of fight that you maybe get away with if you had BKB available, but he'd already used it, and they knew about that top. So it strikes me as maybe a little bit impatient from Skidder. Maybe they were concerned about the Roche objective, but now they have this awkward situation where Soniqs has had to buy back. He's going to be a point of vulnerability for them, and well, fun to have everything in their arsenal ready to party.
Pakaz, Lincoln's online. Yeah, there's mention that he did over 7,000 damage that last fight. Again, he is the raid boss here. And
even the Penta Edge to just click hard at this stage.
Why not? Tier 4 item, sure.
Try to finish this. BKB's activated. I guess it's going to be picked up. Kisses has been used. Primal Roar will just allow them to retreat. Saxa drops the tombstone on the high ground to ensure that. They're hesitant though. They feel like they need to get some for good reason. They're going to hop in now. Skidder does get the stun out the Gyrocopter. There's going to be a save coming up from the Solar Guardian. On the backside though, CM has been found out by 9. Small kill, they need bigger ones. Saxa is going to go down. That's the dieback. Dead for 100 seconds. Snaking now being forced to try and commit, but there's nothing left for them to commit on here. Thunder still clearly come out ahead.
Yeah, Invoker's in these fights is really trying to be that pain in the ass in the back lines, and you know, he gets the Crystal Maiden, but it's just, he's not able to do enough, unfortunately. He's in fact has to use another BKB and his Refresher Orb charge to get away right there, so that is pretty critical. The Refresher Orb being the big one, 160 plus seconds now. that's going to be deactivated for the Invoker. But yeah, I mean, it's already so insanely difficult to kill this gyrocopter. Now you have to do it twice. By the way, he also has the cheese as well, so this just got, it almost feels like 5-10 times more difficult for Tundra. I'm not saying it's a win now for Thunder Awaken necessarily, but it's got to feel like that this one is in a very comfortable spot now for your TA.
Yeah, it's actually even more spooky than it appears. I just noticed this because you don't see it often. Marcy has the Ag Shard, so they have another way of getting Gyrocopter in or out. Like, it's just getting harder and harder to kill him. You can see they're just going to try and poke and prod him, but so confident for good reason. Skid's going for the backstab on a Marcy. So the guy to save the day. Not good enough for the Marcy, but maybe the Gyro is going to be disarmed on the spot. Is alive for the time being, and now the counterattack's going to come in. Mago hops onto Beastmaster, forced off to try and get him out. There's going to be Ice Wall drop, which will slow down Pakaz, but Snaking is stuck a little bit too close to the sun. Almost gets burned.
That Ice Wall's annoying. It actually prevents the death on the Snapfire happening, but because he did use a Satanic right there, but again, Lincoln's up in a couple seconds. He still has BKB. He has the Satanic in 10, and there's that whole Aegis thing once again that's in play. And by the way, Dawnbreaker has yet another ultimate. So Tundra just has to play so perfectly and do so much in these fights to truly win it. Where, I mean, Thunder Awaken, they certainly have to have their own effort with the supports and everything, but it feels like a much easier game to win now for Thunder Awaken.
Guys, this is popped. The Python, so the Guardian's going to come out. Skid is going to be pursued, forced to use the BKB, even on the full stuff. Nice disarm to push back, but Snaking is done in this realm of existence.
Just the one. It's the same thing. Tundra goes in, they initiate, the Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian comes out, they retreat, and you know, they just hope to all survive. So it's the rinse and repeat, but the repeat's not necessarily working for Tundra in terms of gaining some ground. In fact, they're losing a lot of it, and they're gonna buy back on Snapfire. There is no Solar Guardian currently, but the engage is a big concoction. Set on 2, the blow up on Invoker. He buys back immediately. Gotta be careful not to go too far if you're the Alchemist. Focus on the tier 4s. That's what Pakaz wants to do. From Reward still on cooldown for 30 more seconds, by the way. So
he's got Divine Rapier.
The meatballs, but no, he gets saved from his teammates. They're going all in on him, but he's getting pushed away. Pops the Satanic and turning right back in. So once again, Tundra has to retreat. These ice walls, they're doing some work.
It's not enough though. He's got Divine Rapier. This Gyrocopter has to be addressed directly right now. Twice over at that. Stun's gonna come out. Control him seems good, but the Solar Guardian save. All that evasion. There's no way through it. This is done. Thunder are easily going to take out the throne before he can be taken out twice. Gyrocopter down to half HP. They're attempting it. Hex is at least going to sail for the moment. First life is gone. It's only him and Marcy versus the world. The double tombstone, maybe they have a way of recovering this. Primal Roar comes out. BKB was used by Pakaz. He still has the cheese to work with. And Skidder is already dead. It's Gyrocopter versus the world, and he has dominion overall. Thunder Awaken rather, become the Predators here and take game 1.
What a way to finish this one. Beastmaster just going in, says, you know what, you deserve it. The godlike ultra kill. For a second there, I thought KP, I'm like, wait, is Tundra actually going to potentially stall this at least and give themselves hope? I mean, they picked off everyone around him at that point. Thunder Awaken clearly was just going full YOLO, trying to actually finish the game, which is understandable. And it almost felt like that kind of backfired, but it didn't. I mean, in the end, that Gyrocopter, the story repeats itself. He was just too